I yelled, grasping half of a Pop-Tart and gazing out the kitchen window. There she was, Margaret Hensley, enforcer-in-chief of the Maple Grove HOA, flinging one spindly leg over our 6-foot fence like a B-list action heroine. Her orange vest glowed like a road cone, clipboard shining and duct-tape knee pads no doubt to prevent another koi pond mishap like last Thursday. But her eyes? They seethed with the fury of a man who'd crawl across broken glass to quote a crooked birdhouse. Grandpa Walt didn't even look up from his coffee on the porch swing. "Fourth time this week," he grumbled. "She's really asking for it. See, this wasn't all about a fence. It was about turf, power, a war for lawn flamingos, wind chimes, and solar lights that Margaret called excessively whimsical. It all began 3 months ago when Grandpa came to stay with me. Ethan, 15, serious gamer, while my parents went abroad for work. Grandpa, a retired Navy engineer who had too many tools and no patience for foolishness, examined the HOA and declared it an enemy army. Week 1? Margaret fined us for painting the mailbox an unapproved teal. Then she disparaged Grandpa's flamingo statues, declared them an eyesore. But the actual fire starter, catching her in our backyard with a measuring wheel, surveying our alias like a crime scene technician. No knock, no warning. Said the bylaws granted her boundary override authority. Grandpa nearly choked on his coffee. That evening, he vanished into the garage for 6 hours. We thought he was constructing a bird feeder. We were mistaken. So here she was again, climbing our fence like a pesky squirrel. Last week, she dove into the koi pond head first after a non-compliant garden flag. Her waterlogged loafers made tracks across the lawn. Grandpa had chuckled then. Today, however, he seemed much too serene. Margaret dropped like a cat and ran towards the herb garden, clipboard clutched in hand, all business. Grandpa calmly looked over at the porch cam, grinned and muttered, "Watch this." A click resounded. A secret sprinkler sprang up and soaked her full blast. Green-colored water mixed with peppermint oil and Grandpa's special mix to chase deer and intruders away. She yelped, slipped, and face-planted into the oregano bed. "You're trespassing!" I shouted from the doorway. Margaret wrestled up, vest dripping, clipboard held high like a riot shield. Grandpa ambled over, flung open the gate, and said loosely, "Exit this way. Climbing isn't necessary." She stormed out the gate, grumbling about lawsuits. Grandpa offered her a laminated sign that said, "Warning, trespassers may be sprayed." By lunchtime, our neighbor Tim had leaked the video to the group chat. Caption, "Green Goblin taken down. Porch Admiral wins again." Someone replied, "I'm making popcorn for round 3. At dinner, Grandpa dropped a bombshell between bites of meatloaf. "We're wiring the gate tomorrow." I nearly choked on my Sprite. "Is that even legal?" "Only if she's dumb enough to grab it," he said, grinning. The garage turned into a war zone. Schematics on the wall, timers everywhere, wires tangled across the bench. I swear I saw him test a sensor with a cantaloupe. For a guy who hadn't worn a uniform in decades, he was treating this like a military op, and he was loving every second. Later that night on the porch, I asked, "Why do you even hate her that much?" Grandpa rocked quietly for a moment, then spoke. "She believes she runs us, walks onto our lawn, enacts rules no one consented to. Individuals like that don't just take your lawn, they take away your freedom." And in an instant, I understood. This wasn't about flamingos. This was about dignity. The garage resembled that of a mad scientist. Cables hung over toolboxes, stacks of soda cans resembling trophies, air heavy with the smell of solar. Grandpa at last presented the Gate Zapper 3000, a low-voltage setup hooked up to the side gate, motion-activated and videotaped from a birdhouse cam for proof. We camped out there that night. 2 lawn chairs, a sack of burritos, and Grandpa's night vision goggles, which were older than I was. The gate shone like a mousetrap. "This is likely against the law," I mumbled, chewing. "Only if she sues us," he said, "and only if we upload it." At 1:47 a.m., the sensor light flashed. Margaret stepped out of the darkness wearing black, clipboard cinched about her like a dagger, hoodie reading, "Order is unity." She snuck by the rose bushes complaining of illicit trellises. She touched the vine-covered gate latch. Then, Zap! She screamed. One sneaker went flying. The entire neighborhood likely awakened. She fell into the mulch, stunned, then scrambled away into the night, cursing about invisible ordinances. Grandpa held up his burrito in a toast. She'll think twice now. By dawn, Tim had cut the tape, complete with sound effects from cartoons, and uploaded it. The crash and zap spread like wildfire. Local meme sites, Reddit. Grandpa rose slowly, as calm as a still storm. I've rebuilt tanks in the line of fire, he said. I've watched men weep over blown radios. But I've never watched anyone trespass on my property, then refer to me as the villain when she faceplants. He stared at Victor. I didn't electrify the street. I defended my land. She put herself in harm's way. Tim applauded. Then more people joined. You want order, Grandpa replied. Begin by honoring my property line. You don't rule my porch unless you're sending my taxes a check. Victor's face reddened to beet red. Court it is, he growled. Grandpa smiled. Wednesdays are good for me. The neighborhood exploded. Gate Admiral trended. Lines were drawn. The HOA struck back by deploying drones, larger ones with improved tracking. It was as if Grandpa had been declared a fugitive. He didn't flinch. He called his friend Carl and spent the day in the garage, building Buster, a drone jammer constructed from an old leaf blower, equipped with LEDs and a speaker that played static. One evening, Buster was airborne. It blinded an HOA drone with a burst of light. It stumbled in midair and took off. But the following day, 3 new drones appeared, sweeping our lawn like a sci-fi police force. Victor was losing it. Then the media showed up. A reporter, Sarah Vega, asked Grandpa for a statement. I fought for this country, he said. If someone's counting my flamingos, they'd better bring a warrant. The clip went viral. Memes of Grandpa using a hose like a flamethrower went viral on the internet. Flamingo freedom trended. In response, the HOA posted no unauthorized filming signs. Then a thick envelope came from the Regional Homeowners Council, accusing Grandpa of surveillance interference. That night, a drone dropped a box on our lawn. Inside, a plastic flamingo holding a flag, unity through rules. Grandpa set it beside Buster. Let 'em send souvenirs, he muttered. We're just getting started. Then the neighborhood snapped. Mrs. Kim set a single flamingo next to her mailbox. The Millers put 4, a one-eyed pirate among them. The lawns grew pink. A flamingo legion emerged. Victor snapped. Fine them. $100 for lawn clutter, $600 for incitement. When he attempted to take away one, a poodle drove him off. Grandpa said nothing. Simply constructed a small drawbridge with the sign, Zone of Freedom, trespassers will be amused, sold online as merchandise. Victor couldn't handle it. 3 days later, he knocked on our door, flushed and yelling. You're done, Carson, he shouted, waving documents. New emergency bylaw. No sitting on the porch. No gardening. You're in default. That's not actually happening, I said. It is now, he growled. Unanimous board vote. You are the board, Grandpa told him. Right then, the street came alive. Mrs. Kim placed a flamingo by our gate. Tim added one with a Buster Rules sign. One by one, neighbors emerged with flamingos. Cowboys, chefs, superheroes. Mr. Lee stepped forward and handed Victor a document. It's a petition for your removal. Victor sputtered. You can't. We already are, Mrs. Kim said. We're rewriting the rules. Victor backed away, stunned. Margaret, bandaged and silent, rushed to her car. By dawn, Victor's lawn was empty. Whispers claimed he skipped town, made a run for Nevada. The HOA didn't collapse. It evolved. A new equitable board took office. Drone patrols were eliminated. Flamingos were officially sanctioned. Buster received a foil medal. Grandpa? He just rocked on the porch. It's not about winning, he said. It's about reminding people they're allowed to be weird. My post about the Maple Grove mutiny went viral. We were flown to New York by a late-night talk show. Buster was triple scanned by TSA. On the air, Grandpa claimed, some lady thought my fence was a jungle gym. I just gave her a spark. The audience went wild. He refused book contracts and endorsements. Too many rules, he complained. Kids on bikes rode by our yard back home. Tourists took pictures with Buster. A mural appeared. Grandpa and flamingos everywhere. Below, guard your yard. The HOA sent a formal apology in the mail. Margaret was supposedly banished to a smile-required condo in Florida. Afternoon, Grandpa handed me a letter. I'd been awarded a tech camp scholarship courtesy of the Buster Project. "They're lucky to have you," he said. We sat on the porch, wine chimes singing, when a new HOA guy showed up at the fence, clipboard in hand. Grandpa clicked the camera remote. "Welcome to Maple Grove," he said, and Buster slowly turned toward the gate.